Hey, how's it going guys? My name is Abyss, and in today's video I'm going to be making a quick guide on the new Harmony Path Trailblazer. Now I get that I'm probably a bit late to this, but I figured since it's something that happens in the story, I don't really want to spoil it, so wait until the end of the weekend just to make sure anyone who was eager to catch up already has, or they've probably already been spoiled at this point. Anyways, I ranted about spoilers and everything in my last video. Feel free to check that out if you want to listen to me rant. If you don't, I'll spare you a second one here and we can just get into this. Speaking of second, this is our second insane imaginary unit that we've gotten for free. They are pushing the game towards a kind of break effect meta. Now, break effect hasn't really been in the limelight much. Not many characters really benefit from building it up until now. This changes everything. But actually, not only is the super break mechanic that comes with the Trailblazer something that's different and strong, it's also extremely fun. Seeing units that, usually are weak or not built to even do damage, dishing out crazy amounts. I don't know, there's something about it that's kind of fun and addicting to do. Just trying out Aster main DPS builds or break welt. I felt like a kid on Christmas that just got a new toy and just wanted to continue playing with it and do nothing else. I spent half a day, well okay that's an exaggeration, but I spent a bunch of time just doing MOC with different units. I felt so stupid, but I was having fun doing it. It also is quite easy to build. It doesn't really rely on extra damage percent or crit or what type things are. So in cases where imaginary break damage is being dealt, it's about the same as fire and physical, which are the stronger ones. This isn't for break effect, this is for super break though. Regular break effect does have those differences. Now, super break is a mechanic that is unique to just the Trailblazer. So whenever the ult is up, that's when you can do super break. Obviously the enemies need to be weakness broken as well. Super break is a little bit different to regular break. It doesn't matter what type or anything like that it is. It also doesn't matter how big the toughness bar is for the enemy. All that super break scales off of is your character's level, the toughness damage that the attack does, their break effect, and what defense shred is on the enemy. Everything else is kind of just what the enemy is, so stuff you can't change. You can also break and super break in the same attack. It's just calculated on how much extra toughness damage you do after you do the break. So in those scenarios, you'll typically do less super break damage, but still a good amount of damage either way. Now for trace priorities, you want to level up the ult first, then your talent, then your skill. You don't need to touch on the basic. The ult gives allies 30% break effect at level 10, so 33 when you get the Eidolons. The ult is what allows your allies to do one instance of super break per turn. So unfortunately, those kind of bounce attacks that happen on weld skill, those don't actually get any extra super break. It is per enemy though, so each enemy can take one instance. It's not just one instance per attack. Okay, moving on to relics. Ideally, you will run a 4-piece watchmaker. Not only does this give break effect from the 2-piece, but the 4-piece gives your allies 30% break effect, so they'll be doing even more super break damage. If you don't have the 4-piece watchmaker set just yet, you could swap out 2-piece for 2-piece hacker space or 2-piece thief set. Any variation of those kind of combos is perfectly fine, but yeah, you should be picking from one of those 3 sets. As for your planner ornaments, the number 1 best in slot right now will be Talia. This is the set you get from World 4. It gives break effect, and when you hit 145 speed, you get an extra 20% break effect, so 36 overall. Now, this does bring the issue of speed requirements. 145 can be fairly high for some people. If you're running Trailblazer with Run May, then that speed requirement drops to 135. That is if you've leveled up your Run May talent. Now, I guess right now it's not really a bad thing to farm World 4, but I still wouldn't recommend it. I think it's usually more beneficial for any accounts that are trying to build a lot of characters. If you just farm World 7, I think that's usually better. So if you do want a couple of Talia pieces, save up your salvage relic things and then salvage them or craft them, whatever the action of making them is called. You guys know what I mean. If you are struggling with your energy needs, then Vonwhack and Penacony are both also pretty good. If you don't have any of those, just use what you have. Ideally, you want to get an energy regen rope, and then maybe you just get a set effect for what you can do. Just make sure you have a lot of break effect substats. Overall, for your body, you want defense or HP. For your boots, you're going to want speed, and for your orb, HP or defense. Your imaginary damage bonus is not going to affect the super break, so no point going for that. And then for your rope, you're going to want energy regen, especially before E6. If you're not running an energy regen light cone as well, you'll definitely need it after you do get E6, so that will be probably in 2.3. Then you can start running break effect rope, or you could test the waters and see if a break effect rope helps you out more if you're running an energy regen light cone. Speaking of light cones, first up, best in slot is going to be Ron May's signature light cone, Past Self in the Mirror. Whilst it is technically the best in slot though, if you have this, chances are you have a Ron May, and if you have a Ron May, why wouldn't you use it on her? And I doubt that you picked up a spare one and didn't superimpose it even if you got 2 in the same 10 pull. So I guess this is directed to people who, you know, spent a lot of money. If you didn't do that, then you can go for Memories of the Past. This is the best option. At S5, energy regen is good and the break effect is obviously really helpful. However, if you don't have at S5, even though it's still good, maybe you want to run Meshing Cogs just for the extra energy. It is very easy to S5 since it's a 3-star light cone and, you know, 8 energy per hit and getting hit. Super useful. Keeping that ult uptime can be a little bit tough since the energy cost is 140. Now for some honorable mentions, first up is Bronya's light cone. Again, energy regen super useful. If you are dealing with a skill point negative kind of team, the SP can help, although in typical cases you wouldn't be running a team like that. It is just a comfort thing. And then I would save this option for after E6. You can run Dance Dance Dance. Typically, you know, the useful light cone. The action advance is always nice, but yeah, without E6 can be a bit of a struggle. For your stat requirements, you're gonna want, you know, a tanky build, so like 3k, 3.5k HP, at least 1k defense. For break effect, if you can get at least 150, then that's fine. I think you do get 40% in your trace page, whatever it's called, so it shouldn't be too hard to achieve. And then stack up some energy regen. As for speed, you're gonna want 134 or 135 if you have a Ron Mei and you're running Talia. If you don't have a Ron Mei, then you're gonna want 145 if you're running Talia. Or if for whatever reason you're feeling like just stacking loads of speed, then just go for whatever checkpoint that you like. These are just the ones I would recommend. Just for the sake of it, I'll explain the Eidolons. You're gonna get all of them anyway. Right now in the 2.2 patch, we should be able to get up to E5. E1 gives you an extra skill point when you use your first skill in a battle. E2 gives you 25% energy regen for your first 3 turns. So off the bat, these 2 Eidolons just really help your Trailblazer get up and running so you can get that ult up fast. Then we've got E4, which gives allies 50% of your Trailblazer's break effect, so should be around 30% for your average build. Again, 200 break effect. And then when we do get our E6, I think that will be in 2.3, you get 2 more hits on your skill, so that gives you more energy, more toughness break, so you're breaking shields faster and helps you get that ult time up to 100% pretty much. This is what enables you to not need to use an energy regen rope in my opinion. Of course you don't have to run energy regen, but I just recommend it. On to the Trailblazer's best teammates. So we've got the cowboy guy himself, Mr. Boothill. Even though he's not out and we don't know his kit, just from seeing how much toughness damage he did in the trailer, he does a single instance that's a huge amount of toughness damage from what we can see. So he'll benefit from Super Break quite a bit. Then you've got characters like Zhui, Su Shang, Luca. All of their ults do a good amount of toughness damage, especially Zhui. So those are the DPS that benefit from being with the Trailblazer. As for your supports, obviously number 1 will be Ron Mei. She enhances the whole team with the weakness efficiency break. So Super Break does 1.5 times extra. She also keeps the enemy weakness broken for longer and gives action delay to them, so you can really get that full usage out of the Super Break mechanic. For those of you that don't have Ron Mei, this isn't really an ideal swap, but you can run Pella. Pella does apply defense shred and quite a bit of it, so that way you can get more Super Break damage. Silverwolf also can do this, and since Harmony Trailblazer does work better with less enemies, Silverwolf will be perfect since she also does do better in those situations. And lastly, for your sustain units, Gallagher is really the only one that benefits as much. His talent does allow you to do extra 12% break damage to those enemies in the besotted state. I personally like using Quoho just for that energy regen, but you're more than welcome to use whoever you do have. Aventurine can work pretty well. His ultimate does do a lot of toughness damage as well. But yeah, it's just whoever you have. So basically any unit that can do a large chunk of toughness damage will benefit from the pairing. The cons for the Trailblazer are that they are high energy for their ult. They also do suffer from battles with a lot of enemies. If there are a lot of enemies on the field, then the Super Break damage does diminish quite a bit. So in cases like Pure Fiction, you're going to be doing the very minimum. And I think the last con is that the best teammate is Ron Mei, which is a limited 5-star that maybe people don't have. Other than that, I think they're pretty good. Pros consist of enabling a whole new style of play. It's very easy to build the Trailblazer as well. All you need is break effect and a bit of speed. They work as a sub DPS with that Super Break damage, and they have an insane amount of toughness break efficiency with their skill and their bouncing of the skill, as well as, you know, the extra action delay on the enemies. Overall, I have to say I'm really impressed with this kit. It is pretty good in almost every aspect. Of course, you know, when enemies aren't toughness broken, then they're not going to take as much damage from the Trailblazer or whoever, but once they are, that damage really powers up high. Every Eidolon is good, and they're just easy to build. So yeah, if you haven't built your Trailblazer, now's the time to do it. Anyways, that wraps up today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed and found it helpful. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe, whatever. Actually, if you are using the Trailblazer, please comment who you're using them with. I've been trying them with Welt, Asta, Sampo, all the dumbest shit I could find. As you can see in the video, I use that gameplay just as background and stuff. It's hilariously good. Even though the first instance of like toughness break or whatever isn't that great, it's still really fun, and the fact that it kind of enables it is just hilarious to me. But yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.